slides. So, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. O my Lord, expand for me my chest, ease my task for me, and remove the impediment from my speech, so they may understand what I say. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل الله فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. Amma ba'd. Verily all praise is for Allah, we praise Him and seek His aid. And whomsoever Allah guides will never be led astray, and whomsoever Allah leaves astray no one can guide. I bear witness that there is none worthy of worship but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is His slave and messenger. To proceed. So just a quick overview of what we're going to be doing, inshallah. I do this every time. So if you are new, you're going to be hearing this new. If you are not, you've been in my sessions before, you know that I start with intentions. And intentions is a thought that you have given enough time and thinking on, that you decided that you're going to take action on it. So hold on a minute. Someone's annotating. Okay, so very important, sisters, that before we start anything, and this is why we say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim before we start anything, because we're starting in the name of Allah, intentionally changing our focus that we are starting this, but whatever we're beginning with is for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what is your intention? What are you taking away from here? Your why is so important in our deen, because Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, and with this hadith goes, it's so important that at the beginning of some of the greatest kitabs, the books of hadith, it's at the beginning and it's at the end. When we begin something and when we finish something, we're always taken back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the reminder that why, our big why in this. So the hadith, and I'm going to always quote the short version, because I hope everyone has some understanding of this hadith in general. Innamal a'malu binniyat. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Innamal a'malu binniyat. Verily every action is judged by intention. So your why is very important. I want you to think about your why. And the most beautiful thing about this is that thoughts are intentional. So you think about something and you intend it. So it's the next process. It's the one that you sit on. Inshallah. So what are thoughts? So yesterday, a few of my slides were missing, but we did cover this very, very briefly. What are thoughts? So anyone, especially from yesterday's session and the session before, if you've joined our coaching sessions, like our Sister Seeking Salam, our SSS, what do you think is a thought? Or what are thoughts in general? Because we're talking about negative thoughts. Negative thoughts is an ailment of the heart. It's a disease of the heart. But when we're talking about thoughts in general, what is that? You can unmute if you want, if you don't mind to be in the recording. It will be like a very short, quick answers, please, sisters, so that we can move on. Things that come into your mind, ideas that come into our heads. Very good. Feel free to unmute yourself if you want to. So thoughts. What are thoughts? You're thinking right now. I'm influencing your thoughts. I love saying this. I am actually influencing your thoughts because I'm making you think about something. If you're thinking about what I'm making you think about, or I'm asking you to think about. Right? At any point, if anybody wants to write a question as well, feel free to write it down. Remind me to come back to it, inshallah. Okay. So, generally, a thought is an idea or viewpoint or an opinion. Okay? Just an idea, like your sisters have said, viewpoint or an opinion that we have throughout the day that emerges through the process of of what is generated through the process of thinking, or it just come into your head all of a sudden. It can be sudden pop up. You weren't even expecting. You weren't even think about it. Actually, that's why it's a called a thought. You think about it, but you're not thinking about it before you thought about it. It's like suddenly something comes to your mind. Now it could be a positive or a negative. And yes, we have. I've heard it's over 80,000. It could be over 60,000. It could be over 80,000. Depends on how fast you think. Our thought processes. Some people think less. Some people think more. I mean, the whole Alhamdulillah, through coaching, we've learned to manage our thinking, and and some of us think a lot less now and more calculated thinking. So it depends on each individual. Now, where is thought influenced from? Where does thought come from? Like, what influences it? What do you think influences our thoughts? Our beliefs, okay, good. Our beliefs, our experiences, good. Keep it coming. Our environment, what else? Shaitan, well done. A lot of people, nafs, mashallah. Some of you who've been joining my sessions previously would know what I'm expecting. So keep it coming. People, what we listen to, other people, what we watch. So social media, right? Social media or other people. We might watch other people actually. We might be experiencing other people's lives. I'm loving this. Come on. If you do unmute yourself, if you feel like you want to unmute and say something, do you feel ready to do that? Just go for it. Our mood. Okay, good. Keep it coming. The whole point of questions is I want you to think, really. Our childhood, yes, our childhood experiences, right? Okay, very good. I think other people sometimes, okay, there's loads, and I think on SSS, there's a session we've covered on thoughts already. So go back to that. Today is not, I'm not going to go into too much detail on this, but I've highlighted some of the things that there's two parts. One is your personal own internal, and one is external. Okay? So thoughts can be influenced by your own self, your own thoughts. So something might pop up and you start thinking, and a lot of other things come in. Doubts, right? Self-doubt, doubt about other things. Doubts, do I still have wudu or not? So doubt is something that's very discouraged in our deen. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, leave what makes you doubt, for what does not make you doubt So leave what you doubt for certainty. So if you're more sure about something, leave the doubt out. And then Nabi Sallallahu continues in the same hadith. Verily, truth brings peace of mind, and falsehood sows doubt. So if it's doubt, you're not sure, leave it out. And there's a saying, if in doubt, leave it out. And we live by that. Okay, unintentional or intentional thinking. So sometimes a thought popped up. Or intention thinking. Doubt regarding information, doubt regarding yourself. Am I good enough? All these things come from doubt. When you start doubting yourself, like, okay, you're venturing to do something, and then all of a sudden you start feeling like, oh, I don't think I'm good enough for this. What makes me think that I can do this? And then you're self-doubting. Make a decision and go forward. Bismillah. And doubt falls in a very big category, sisters. It's not just the few things I mentioned. It's very big. So, and that's doubt is usually negative. Doubt is usually negative. And it's good to be skeptical. Don't take me wrong. Skepticism, like skeptical, okay, have I done this? Have I done that? Have I tied my camel? And then moving forward. It's very important. But sitting on doubt is what I'm talking about here. Okay. Beliefs and values, emotions or feelings. Okay, sometimes we feel something, right? Or we're feeling tired, or we're feeling a bit upset, and then other thoughts can come up. So we're already feeling something, and something else comes up. Does that happen to us? So you're already feeling upset because somebody said something, and then somebody else comes along, and just look at them, and you just have a whole lot of thinking about them. If only you could be a bit more helpful. Even if it's our kids, if only you didn't do that, if only this, and all sorts of thoughts can come up. If you're feeling good thoughts might come up. If you're feeling bad, if you're feeling negative thoughts might come up. Past experiences or memories. If you've got good memories of someone, then you look at them, you have good memories. If you have a past bad experience, even to the point that it could be a spiritual experience that somebody's had a bad experience with, and every time that comes up, a memory of a certain place that's supposed to, like, for the majority would be a positive, for that person might be negative. And so changing the lens is so important here, because the past is in the past, right? We can't change that. We can't physically go and change anything in the past, but we can change the way we think about it. Really important. Physical health, yep. So maybe you're not well. Yesterday, one of the sisters was talking about not being well. Trust me, sisters, I have gone through some of the nightmares of pain, ailments. You can imagine physical health can really have an effect on the way you think, and it's very important to come back on a positive thinking path. Really important to change the mindset, the thought process, the mindset and attitude. So what kind of mindset you have? So maybe the way you've been brought up, ego can come in here, your own personal ego, your nafs, right? I put attitude, it comes under a lot of things, like I like things like this, and it would affect everything else because they didn't do what I wanted, and your thought process might spiral. Others. So when we talk about others, we're talking about jinn, other mankind. So that's people that are around you, the jinn. We're talking about shaitan, the shayateen that have influences. We know that even for wudu, there's a shaitan allocated to deter us and put doubt in our minds, subhanAllah. And that's from the hadith. And we're constantly battling our thoughts, right? And it is a constant because we're constantly thinking and we're constantly having to change our thinking. And we are human being, and shaitan is there and other people are there. And sometimes, like I was saying to myself, like, I do a lot of intentional thinking. I have to change my thinking a lot. But sometimes the friends that you keep, they're affected by things as well. And so what they're thinking and the way their mindset is and the way their upbringing is and all those things that about themselves can affect you too. So, and Nabi Sallallahu says you are your companion. So being aware of that the thought, your negative thoughts can come from the people around you, and changing that. If you can't change your companion, change yourself to intentionally change your thinking when they're saying something to you, or angry at you, or upset at you. And I know some of the sisters asked about different people. How do we change them when we're around them, like you're living with them? This is the test. This is the test. Right? So changing ourselves, our thinking consistently. Inshallah. Social environment. So nowadays we've got social media. I remember there was a wedding, and everything in that wedding had to do with some Instagram wedding photographs of some, I don't know, some people were wearing a dress a certain way and wearing the scarf a certain way, and the jewelry was a certain type, and there was this craze about going and finding all of these things. And it's like the wedding wasn't complete until the bride had this and the groom had this. It becomes like a I wouldn't say so much as an obsession, but it felt like an obsession, right? I'm assuming. Um, to the point that everything had to be similar to those kind of like handful of things that were on Instagram. I'm not sure if it's on TikTok and all this stuff, but we do experience this kind of stuff, don't we? We see other people and we love what they're doing, and we want we kind of almost take them as role models. So being careful about where we're taking our information and what we're following, what our thought process is, and how we're following it through to become an action, because thoughts will eventually become an action. And if we don't be careful of our thoughts, it will become an action, and we might not like that, and it might not be beneficial for us. So being very careful of that. Media and information, verifying always, because media can just take anything and make a story out of it. You can take a picture and make a story out of it. You can take half of a quote and make a story out of it, or you can twist the truth, as we can see in Gaza now. So there's so much that we need to be aware of, that just because we are told it's fire, it doesn't have to be fire. Right? And sometimes news is uploaded like a day before, but it could be like old news. So being careful of that as well. Physical health, again, going back, how other people perceive you. You might start feeling really bad within yourself, or you're already physically unwell yourself, and then you feeling physically unwell with other people. Mindset and attitude, again, other people's mindset, other people's attitude. Now what do? We understand that negative thoughts and positive thoughts can come from external factors and internal factors, right? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in Surah Nas, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate. Say, O Prophet, I seek refuge in the Lord of humankind, the Master of humankind, the God of humankind, from the evil of the lurking whisperer who whispers into the hearts of mankind, from amongst jinn and humankind. Very comprehensive. If you go into the tafsir, it could take hours and hours. But here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, reminds us to take refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that we need to take refuge with Allah from. And who is Allah? Who is He? The Lord of mankind. Who is He? The Master of mankind. Who is He? The God of mankind. Who is He? He starts off with the who. Because we need to know the power of the one we're asking protection from. We need to feel the power of the one who we will get protection from. Know that He will protect us from them and it, whatever it is we're asking Him protection from. Again, going back to Allah is as you think of Him. If you believe with full yaqeen, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will protect us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will protect us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will protect us 100%. It is your yaqeen in Allah that will make the change. And what are we asking from Him? From the evil of the lurking whisperer. From those who whisper into the hearts. Now hearts here is sudur. It's not qalb here. Heart here means like the chest, where the heart is inside. Our chest cages the heart, right? So the whispering only comes up to the chest, not into the heart. It's only we that allow it to enter into the heart. I want you to think about it. When we think that shaitan is whispering or other people are whispering, it only reaches the chest, the outside. It's us who allow it in or not. Just think about it for a second. So we always have the power. We always have the ability to let it in or not. But we need to learn how to stop it. That's the big thing here. Because we know it's coming. We know people are going to talk to us. We know that things are going to influence us. But we need to learn how to stop it. We always have the power. That's why Shaitan on the Day of Judgment will turn around and say, I only whispered to them. They're the ones who did it. I'm not to take any blame. Same with other people. We can't say other people told me to do it. Nobody physically took you to do it. Only time we will have an excuse is when something was physically forced upon us. Literally. How many of us can say the things that we do because of other people is because we had to do it? Or is it because we felt like we had to do it? Big difference. We felt like we had to do it because they said something with a feeling. We thought about it and we accepted it. Are there times when you've said no? I won't do it. I can't do it. For example, there's lots of people who can come and influence us, right, in different ways. So it's our choice. Always the choice is there. It might be difficult. You might feel the pressure, but that's where we set boundaries. We have to realize where we're setting boundaries, and we always have the right to say no. negative thoughts, or any thoughts, but here we're talking about negative thoughts, have impacts on us emotionally, on our behavior, as well as physical. Like when we're thinking and we're in the negative, we're thinking negatively. How many of us here have had a negative thought, negative feeling, and just feel like, oh, I can't do anything. I can't do this anymore. How many of us have gone through that? I don't think personally that you can live without negative thoughts. I think negative thoughts are important because, and I would say from the hadith as well, because there was a group of Sahabi radiallahu anhum who came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, like they were so upset, so upset, really, and they come to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam all like face down, and how are they going to address this situation? But obviously they've discussed it between themselves. Something's not right. They've come to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the best of advisors, the best of mankind, and they're coming to him knowing that they're exposing the most inner deeper secrets, the most inner deeper dark secrets, right? And they come to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam and they say to him, "O Nabi of Allah," and I'm paraphrasing here, but we have thoughts within us that we dare not speak of. And Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam asks them, "Do you really have these thoughts? Really?" Like re-emphasizing, and they say yes. And so Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam tells them, "This is Iman." And we have to realize that it's what this means. This is one of my favorite hadith. One of there's a lot more, by the way. There's a lot more about this. How Nabi Sallam helped the Sahabi radiallahu anhu. And when we think of the Sahabi radiallahu anhu, we think, wow, they're the best after Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, right? They're the best after the prophets. So we almost think, and I said this again yesterday, and I say it again and again, we kind of put them on such a high pedestal, thinking that they are so good and we can't be like them. We are exactly like them. I'll tell you why. Because they are the examples through which Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam showed us that these kind of things happen and this is how to change it. These kind of things happen and it's okay. This kind of things happen, but you need to do this, right? So realizing that the life of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is not just a story. The life of Sahabi radiallahu anhum is not just a story. It's real and it's made for us to really live by. And it can have a physical impact. Negative thinking can have a spiritual impact, where if you're starting thinking that I'm not worthy of Allah's forgiveness, I've done such bad things, my childhood was so bad, I did this, I did that, I went behind someone's back and did this, and I'm not worthy of forgiveness, for example. What happens to your iman? What happens to your focus on Jannah? Do you look forward to Jannah then? Or can you look forward to Jannah if you have this perception? Do you look forward to meeting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala if the perception is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to be dragging us by the neck? Relationships, it affects our relationships the way we think. Someone might just not be in the mood to talk to us and we feel like, oh, they ignored us. And then the thought process can be like, they don't want to talk to us. There's no connection between us. We don't, and then you start withdrawing from them. And then it becomes a spiral of then them thinking that you don't want anything to do with you. And then they start withdrawing from you. And then there could be like a impact in the relationship. Self-image, the way you think of yourself, the way you feel about yourself, and more. And I know this is like, again, I'm talking about very superficially, sisters, because when you go to the one-to-one coaching or you go into the coaching, you will see that it's very individual, each situation, right? It's not the same for everyone. And accepting that I'm going through that change. I'm not someone else. Some people catch on very quickly. Some people can get the thought process resolved very quickly, and some can't, and it's okay. Everyone's on their own journey. And the same thing you might be repeating. I had one of my clients recently tell me that, oh, I've told you this about 50 times, and we've resolved this about 50 times. Why am I not getting it? But it's okay. In that process, you're discovering other things, and you come back to this. It's fine. There's a process. You're not angels. We're not perfect. We're imperfectly perfect, like Allah's created us. So we're going to go on a journey and gradually and slowly unpicking the things that have happened in the past. The thoughts, the memories, and changing that. Like, was it really that bad? Was it because the way I was feeling? So yesterday I asked you to be aware of the trail of thoughts you're having, right? Just for yesterday. What is your predominant thought? So yesterday, what was your predominant thought? What was the thinking that you were having yesterday that came up, that you were thinking and it affected you the most? Okay? Can you follow your thoughts back to the original thinking? So, like, think about the thoughts, the feelings that it was having, and what was the original thinking? Was it actually the one you were thinking, the negative thought, or was there something behind it? Now, I want you to change that. Can you connect your thinking back to Allah? And if you can, what can you change your thinking to? So if anybody is brave enough and would like me to do a superficial, obviously it won't be that deep because I personally may not know you, and may not want to go too much into detail, but a quick live coaching. Anybody brave enough to unmute? Yesterday I was focused on making my dream dua vision board. Yes, subhanallah. I doing that course. It's amazing, isn't it? Alhamdulillah. I would ask everyone to do the dua course, the dream dua with Al Maghrib Institute. It's amazing, alhamdulillah. It really brings us back to how to make duas, and it's positivity, right? It's exactly what we're doing here. But obviously in a course, and it's more, we say, intense, inshallah. So if anyone wants to send the link, more than happy to have the link here, inshallah. If anybody's new and you're not on the Sister Seeking Salam, please let us know, and we'll and Amina or someone can share the link to the Sister Seeking Salam group, or let us know, inshallah. So what did you change? Anybody? Come on, sisters, put your hand up. Okay. Okay, sister. Can you share with us?
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I joined half an hour late, so I'm not too sure what was discussed at the beginning. But sister, you asked, could you ask the question again?
Okay, so the question is, it's quite long. It's a few processes. Okay. What was your
Yeah.
dominant thought yesterday or today? Okay, a
Mm.
thought which had affected you the most. So
Yeah.
something that was
So
spiraling.
yeah,
Okay.
I think that the thing that I grapple with the most, I'm middle age. I'm 54 this year, but the thing that I'm grappling in with the most is self-confidence. Because of my past, because of my the way I was, the abusive experience that I have been subjected to. I have a PhD. I'm an associate professor. I could list you on my CV the things that I have been blessed with, but somehow there's a disconnect between my heart and my head of knowing what Allah has bestowed upon me. But in your heart, you're talking about waswas. I don't know whether it's me hanging on to my lack of confidence and poor self belief, or it is something that's been ingrained in me because of the way I was raised. Yeah, so that will be my story.
Subhanallah. Sister, you would be surprised. The vast majority of people who feel like this. Yeah, exactly. So you've got it coming. A lot of sisters already putting in the message like that's how we feel, sharing. The vast majority of us feel like that at some point, if not predominantly, a lot of the time, and that is probably going back to all the things that you're talking about, your childhood, your experiences, the way you see yourself. But can you give me okay, for example, your achievements? Let's
Yeah,
just focus on one point because obviously, sister, I don't know you personally, and I'm just going to coach you in one area, right? Your achievements,
yeah.
and obviously, you don't feel that good about it. Is that right? You don't feel as happy as
Um,
you'd like to, like proud of yourself.
yeah, I would like to say I want to be happy with where Allah has taken me, because I know, compared to where, if this was a story and somebody read the story and they'd be like, this can't happen, this is so far-fetched. But
Yes,
because of it being part of my story, it's like I can't allow myself be to experience joy, because I'm always doubting that this is not real, or this can be taken away from me, or um this it's like I'm faking someone else's life, you know what I mean? Despite the fact that I have been given a lot in terms of blessings in my career, but it's just somehow it's in the heart that I'm not. And that's one of my dream dua, because I'm also on the visionary program. That's one of
mashallah.
my dream dua is to have, I ask, Ya Jabbar, fix my broken heart, you know because it just feels like something is in need of amend in the heart, and you just don't know where to begin. Yesterday
Subhanallah.
was really bad. Yesterday was like and today was a lot better, but yesterday was like I was in such a low part, and it was such a busy day at work and then at home. But yeah.
Subhanallah. From what I'm hearing, from the things, a few things I can highlight. First thing I want to ask you, sis, and bear with me, it's a gradual,
Mm,
you'll see how it all falls in. Is your heart really broken?
it is.
Describe what broken heart means to you.
Just feeling disconnected from everything. The thing that I'm most connected to is my cat. Everyone and everything else, I just don't feel any love or attachment coming from anyone. And I don't know how to mend that. I don't know how to make that connection manifest in my life.
Subhanallah. So what I'm hearing is you're you're saying broken heart means disconnection, right?
It to me, yeah, to me it
Okay.
means, yeah, I can't feel love coming either from me or for me.
Okay, so one of the things, let me just focus on this then. Okay, so we've all the way to this. Sorry, sisters, there's somebody else. Okay, so let's bring it to connection. Now, connection, again, sister, again, I don't know too much about the details, right?
Mm.
It may be that because whatever you've gone through in the past, childhood or whatever, you've decided somewhere along the line that you're going to disconnect yourself, like you're going to withdraw yourself. It's better to be withdrawn. And
Mm.
along the line, remember, I don't know whether you were there when I talked about this, that sometimes when the way we think can create like, oh, that person doesn't want to be with me, and
Mm.
you start feeling like
Yeah.
person doesn't love me, that person doesn't care about me, that person want doesn't show me any affection. When
Mm.
you're withdrawn, the other person will feel you and they will mirror you,
Yeah.
right? And then when they're mirroring you, you're mirroring them back, but on a
Mm.
deeper scale, because now you find proof
Mm.
somehow that because you were thinking this, that
Mm.
we don't know where this had started from. Could have started from them, it could have started from you. Could have started from
Mm.
a moment when they were very disconnected. They were going through something very personal themselves, and they just wanted time to themselves, and they didn't reply to a message, or they
Mm.
were not really emotionally or even physically available. Even if they live in the same home, sometimes you can be the most loneliest. You can feel the most loneliest, even though there's a lot of people still in the home. It's amazing.
Mm.
Like you can have 12 people living in the same home, but you just feel like you've got no connection with anyone. At the same time, you can live all alone, but you can feel connected to all the people around the world. You can walk out and feel really connected because of your experiences. Again, going back to experiences, and our experiences come back from our thoughts, come from our thoughts and the way we're thinking, right?
Mm.
So this is something that we need to go back to. So connection, somewhere along the line, in your life, you went through this disconnection where you either disconnected and then the other person mirrored you. And we have to remember that we mirror each other. We
Mm.
feel each other's vibes. We do. If somebody just like rolls their eye, even if they don't say anything, you feel it.
Mm.
Pick it up, right?
Yeah.
Or their body gesture, we pick it up. Very important. Even if it's your children, your husband, your parents, anyone.
Mm.
And that's because of what they're going through in the moment, and it's what we perceive in that time. Now, we always go through this. The way I would coach you on this is, I want you to just take one person, for example, one person,
Mm.
because if I say everyone, that would be like a
Yeah. Overwhelming.
quite overwhelming. Take one person
Mm.
that you want to connect with, that you're not
Okay.
feeling connection with, okay?
Mm.
And ask yourself, if I want that connection, what kind of change am I willing to make about myself,
Mm.
right? And I'm
Yeah.
keeping in mind, sister, that you don't know the coaching process, the one-to-one coaching process. So I'm keeping myself, I'm just doing a very superficial one right here. And
Mm.
still, I will try to take you as deep as I can with the limited
Mm.
knowledge that we have. So,
Mm.
can you've thought about someone?
Yeah.
Do you think you can come out of your comfort zone to connect with them? Do you think? Are you ready to? I'm holding your hand now, inshallah.
Mm.
While you're holding my hand, literally, you're holding my hand. Are you ready to make a change?
I think so.
Okay, so when you said I think so, there was still a kind of like a semi doubt there. Okay, what's pulling you slightly back?
This is my daughter that I want to connect with. She's 20 years old. She's at college.
Okay,
And it's there is that kind of disconnect with her
Yeah.
and she feels like I'm demanding too much from her in terms of being a good Muslim and all the rest of it. And that's where the disconnect is with her. And
And
yeah, I say I think so because I think I can already imagine her reaction. I know I'm willing to, but in my mind, I'm foreseeing her resistance.
so you're prophesizing, self-prophesizing this
Yeah,
is what's going
yeah,
to happen.
yeah. Because
Is it
you've known her for 20 years, so you kind of like, yeah,
okay?
yeah,
You've known her for 20 years as a daughter.
yeah,
Let's
yeah.
know her as an individual,
Mm,
right? Remember, the children that we give birth to are individual nafs, an individual human being. They came from
yes.
us because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala facilitated that,
Mm,
but they are in an individual. No matter how much we feel like we own them or we feel like we have responsibility over them, they are still
mm,
individuals. SubhanAllah. I know this because I've got grown children. I've got 17-year-old, I've got 15-year-old, I've got four
mm,
4 years. I know, and I've got nieces and nephews, and I've worked with a lot of youngsters as well. So I know the struggle, and it's real. I'm telling you. So I understand where you're coming from. But
mm,
do you feel, what she's saying that you're demanding too much from her as regards to the religion or the deen, do you think
mm.
it's true? Thinking about from
Um, it's partly also because when you were raised as a Muslim girl, you just follow whatever your mom and dad tell you. Whereas now, it's like you got to convince the children that what you're asking them to do is actually good for them. It's like you have to intellectualize religion or faith, you know? That's also another issue where you don't have a guideline of how to raise children in this age. Because when we were raised, we were told and we listened. If you didn't, you will get it from dad. That's it.
but did
So
wait,
so in yeah, so in that
stop
sense,
a
it's
little
like I
bit.
feel like I don't think I'm demanding. I think I'm asking her to do what is right, but she doesn't see it that way.
So obviously she's had her own influences and her
Oh,
own
for sure.
influences and her own circle of friends and her own circle
Absolutely.
of environmental and social differences,
Mm,
right?
mm,
Especially when we put our children to school, we have to be prepared that they will learn from other people and you know, other sources apart from
mm,
our parents. It's not the way
yeah.
it used to be when we were children. And also, the fear factor doesn't work anymore. And even if
Mm. No, you're
they,
right. It doesn't.
right, so then we
Yeah.
have to reinstill. And again, coming back to your daughter again, sometimes if they're not ready, sis, there's
Mm,
no force in religion. You have to remember, at least she's a Muslim. She accepts
mm.
Islam, right?
Yeah, yeah. She prays, but it's the fast, it's the way she dressed, and yeah, yeah, yeah.
So the first thing, and we talked about it yesterday very briefly, is help her to understand that Allah's merciful, Allah's forgiving, Allah's loving, Allah's caring, and maybe
Mm,
internalize that for yourself as well. So I'm only talking about your daughter here. Um,
mm,
that Allah is so loving, Allah is so caring, because she probably feels judged. And when we feel judged, are we ready to connect with someone?
yeah.
When if your daughter's judging you, just say on the cooking or the way you tidy the house, and if someone says could have done it differently,
Mm, mm,
where I do it, we immediately go on a defense, right?
yeah, yeah.
So it's very similar with your daughter. Like, mashallah, she's believing in Allah. She's on her own
Mm,
journey, right?
mm,
And
yeah.
mashallah, Lama Barak, you've done well that she's praying, mashallah,
Yeah.
right? So see that as a good. So start. This is
Mm.
our starting point, sis, for you. Starting point. Instead of seeing the things that she's not doing, see
Mm.
the things that she is doing. See
But
that
as a mom, you feel like you failed, you know? It's
how.
like I'm thinking my parents didn't need to do so much and we all turned out good, you know? Whereas in my case, when I was at Hajj 9 years ago, she was in my dua. I had a book full of dua for her, and I'm thinking, where did I fail?
Did you fail?
Why is it? I feel like I failed,
But that's
you
a
know?
feeling. That's still a feeling. It's not a reality. It's still a.
Mm,
It's still from a
mm,
thought. It's from a negative
mm,
thinking because it's your expectation of where she needs to be from
mm.
what you have. We when you have a idea that a certain image in your head, your child will not become the image. And that's what
Yeah.
I used to say, even 1400 years ago, which I find amazing, right? In that time, when they used to literally do everything that the forefathers did, they lived by that,
Mm,
right? Ali Rabbi
mm.
said, do not treat the next generation like, um,
Yeah, I know. Oh my God. That's why I say I know it in my head, but it's like the
but knowledge is not
disconnect.
transformation.
Yeah.
Knowledge is not transformation. And that's why we have to remember that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the ultimate controller, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what is best for you in this trial and this tribulation that you're going through. Even the fact that you want more from your children, like I would love it if my children could never go on devices. I was speaking to Coach Tahmina this morning, and I was saying, like, you know what, like in my house I've never had TV and stuff like this, and the only thing I've had is laptop and the phone and stuff like that, and I've given them, but they want more, subhanallah. Of course,
Mm,
this generation, they want to see what's
mm,
going on all these I don't know, all these things that are going on, half the stuff, we didn't grow up with TV either, so I try to bring them up that way, but I
mm.
can't, because it is something that I cannot control. I cannot control the
Yeah.
thinking, I cannot control the way they are, and but I can be there for them. Sometimes
Mm,
I show them I'm upset so that
mm,
they know that I don't like this. If it's something that I feel is steering to harm, I will show them I'm upset. But then what we need to do is remember that we are not someone who can physically and forcefully take control, especially after the age of 14, since we just need to be there as a signpost for them. So remember that, mashallah, whatever you've taught her, really, mashallah, that she has taken on some of it, and she will slowly start implementing it the older she gets. But
sure. I mean,
but connecting with her just as a mother, just cuddle her, just say, you know what, I miss the good old days when we used to have a cuddle. Forget the conversation about you going
mm,
through this clothes and stuff. I pray. All I'm doing is pray, and with a smile, with love, and I will re-emphasize. Some of my clients are here, so they will know this very well. Love, mercy, right? And forgiveness. You have to
mm,
forgive her before you even speak, because you have to forgive her not for being the image that you imagined her to be, because that's not
mm,
her fault. That's not her
mm.
fault, right?
Yeah.
She's still an individual. You probably have childhood issues where you did not fall into the image that your parents wanted you to be,
Yeah.
right? And that's where a lot of your self-confidence issues would come from. Hence, we want to reverse that. We want to change that when it comes to your daughter. We want to show her that you are happy with her. Show her the compassion that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given a mother. And
Mm,
and she will mirror that compassion from you and realize that Allah is so compassionate, because a mother is like the doorway where the children can see and understand who Allah is. So if we are too harsh, our children will not feel the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know,
Alhamdulillah.
not being too harsh on ourselves. She is not uh, um, a part of. She is a part of you, but she's not. You know, showing you up in any way, because everyone's trying. If that was the case, then Nuh alayhi salam had something to worry about.
Mm,
Nuh alayhi salam made du'as again and again for his son. We know the story of how
mm,
despondent he became, how desperate he became, and then when his son died, he even said to Allah, "Oh Allah, you said you're going to save my family." You know,
mm, mm.
and then what happens? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says he was not from your family, because he was not from the believers. Yet, look how beautiful your situation is. This, and I want you to take this away, that your is what is the greatest blessing for you with your daughter.
My greatest blessing. She lives by the dua. Whatever she wants, she says she will just ask Allah and Allah will answer.
Wow. I'm sure
Yeah.
everyone's got goosebumps.
No,
Amazing.
for real, for real.
MashaAllah.
I'm
Really,
not, and I'm like, oh my God, if you've got that, why don't you just do everything else and then you'll be, just dress modestly, you know what I mean? But she's like, no, mommy, don't worry about it, Yeah, yeah. She lives by the dua. It's true, Mariam. She does. She lives by the dua. She said, it's okay. If I want anything, I will ask Allah. Allah will give me.
and maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give her what you want her to have, when it's right for her. It's not right for her yet. She's not ready for
Mm.
this. Do you want her to wear something hypocritically and go behind your back
I
and
know, I know. She tells me exactly that. So I'm like, I understand, but I'm just worried. I'm worried for her in the long run. Do you know what I mean?
so go
Yeah.
behind
Asked
go
you to
behind
be
the dua.
aware of the trial of Su'al.
What does the dua mean? What does the
I
dua mean?
asked you to be aware of trial.
So go behind the dua. I want you to see. Like the Prophet Nuh alayhi salam, he didn't have hope of his son because he's not a believer. Your daughter's
Mm.
a man, and your daughter lives by the dua, you know? And I
Yeah.
want you to remember this every time you look at her. And my daughter has
Mm.
iman. My daughter knows Allah. She has yaqeen in Allah. And if somebody has
Alhamdulillah.
yaqeen in Allah, you carry on making dua because remember, your dua is so powerful that 9 years ago, whatever, I think it was 9 years ago you said, isn't it? When you
Yeah.
make duas, it's got to come true because you're
I
the mother.
mean,
But the fact that she lives by dua is amazing. It's exceptional. MashaAllah, Allah Mabarak.
yeah.
But,
Alhamdulillah.
but the disconnection comes from you wanting more and not knowing when it's going to come.
Mm.
Trust that Allah will give it in the right time. And I want you to write this down. I trust that Allah will give it to me. I trust
I trust that Allah will give it to me.
at the right time. Appointed by Him. I want you to write appointed by Him. Not by me, by Him. How did that
Appointed.
how did that change your perspective of your daughter's not doing what I want her to do?
No, seriously, sister, just having this conversation with a fellow Muslim sister who is also, mindful of the situation and giving you that kind of hope, that just elevated my emotions, just made me feel so much more positive. Wallahi, I didn't think much about this conversation going in, and now I'm like, wow, that
SubhanAllah.
was really that was really powerful because it just made me feel heard and not judged, rather than why is your daughter not wearing hijab still, that you just feel like a failure, because it's your fellow Muslim sisters who's making you feel like you have failed as a mom, whereas their daughters are good, because they wear the hijab and they externally they look like a Muslim girl should,
But,
you
but
know?
SubhanAllah, this is
Yeah,
amazing. I love what you're saying. But often, sisters, girls who are wearing hijab because that's what they were told. We know, as growing up in UK,
yeah,
the amount of
yeah.
girls who wear the hijab and they do other things that are, you know, I wouldn't even like to talk about it.
Yeah, I was in the UK for 6 years. I saw what happened to people from my part of the world when they went over and took off the hijab, and the culture shock hits you for sure.
Yes.
And yet you have to bear with it. As a mom, you have to. It's like it hurts. Like, do I tell them, listen, she lives by the dua, people, she's got a very good connection with Allah, okay? It's like, do you know what I mean? I don't want to have to fight with the people here, but that's the reality of it. But listening to you say that, it kind of just soothes the soreness in my heart that, yeah, in time, I trust that Allah will give it to me at the right time appointed by him.
Subhanallah.
I will use that. I will use that as my
Can I get
affirmation.
you, sister, to because this is what I do, because this is called affirmations. Repeat this about 20 to 30 times to yourself before you meet your sister or daughter every day, a few times throughout the day. Repeat it and allocate certain situations. I know that there's some other sisters who have their hands up, but I felt that inshallah,
Yeah,
um,
Jazakallah khair.
I really,
Honestly,
really wanted to get you somewhere, you know.
you did. Sister, you
Alhamdulillah,
did. May
inshallah.
Allah put barakah in your life.
Ameen. Please keep us all in your du'as. You know,
I will.
Sister Seeking Salam is full of us coaches who really aspire to make a change, inshallah. So please make du'as for all the coaches as well, inshallah. And Sister Rehana, I would advise you to go back. I'll send the recording in the group. Are you in the group?
Yes, I am.
Inshallah. Do share your how your connection with your daughter is gradually. Don't expect that she will come back to you just like straight away and she will connect with you. Give yourself, I would say, like 2 months. 2 months from today, where you are, every time you look at her, instead of judging her, instead of assuming the worst, instead of starting to feel like, oh, I'm a failure because my daughter's not good enough, just look at her and say, look, I trust Allah will give it to me at the right time. That's
Appointed by
and keep saying that to yourself and just be a mother. Just hug her, just kiss her, take her out, even without the hijab. Take her out.
she's in another country. She's in another country. But
Oh,
yeah,
subhanallah.
we're online. We're online almost every day. Yeah.
We'll talk about
But
praise her. Praise her. Praise her for being amazing. Praise her for her iman and so forth, inshallah. So sis, I'm gonna have to let you go and I'll
thank you.
few hands up and jazakumullah khairan for being so brave.
Well, yeah.
Jazakumullah khairan. Sisters, I'm still recording, so I think Sister Selma was first, I think. Can you unmute, please? I'm so sorry. We're going over time, but if it's okay, sisters, stay on. I'm sure you can benefit, inshallah. Sister Salma, can you unmute yourself? Are you okay to be on the recording?
Yes, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I was just gonna give an example because you said, oh, give me an example. Yes. So I invited a friend round for iftar, and basically, subhanallah, somehow most of the things that I made actually ended up being something that disturbed her stomach.
Whoa.
So, from from mincemeat to like green peas to lentils and beans. So subhanallah, I had quite a bit of a spread, and and I was like, okay, how can I reframe? How can I frame the fact that I put in a lot of effort, and that was sort of, and she was putting, mashallah, from her end, she was doing her best to eat what she could. Yeah, that's an example I would give.
What was affecting you? I know what's coming, so I have an idea what's coming. What was happening here?
Just that sort of like, oh man, I put in so much time and it turned out to be, like not as fruitful as I hoped. And not just that, it was like a little bit of an awkwardness because it was like, she was doing her best to like eat what she could, and then at the same time I was feeling really bad that she was trying to do that, as well as be feeling okay, I spent most of the day in the kitchen just trying to like welcome my guest and the rest of it. So yeah.
So did you feel like you were not welcoming her enough because you couldn't give her what she liked? Like,
well, no, I know I welcomed her because I did the best I could,
yeah.
but I just felt a bit bad that I didn't hit the spot, basically.
Why does that make you feel bad?
Because it was just my intentions was otherwise.
Okay, so your intention was otherwise. So you feeling bad. Obviously, I'm hoping you didn't go into negative spiral where you felt like, oh dear, you know what kind of
Oh
host.
no, I was controlling the thoughts really because I was like, oh, you know, like the natural instinct would be, oh man, I put in so much effort and this is this is how it's come out. But then I was like thinking, okay, but you know what, subhanAllah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala willed it this way.
Uh,
And you
yeah,
know, that's you know, I'm still getting the reward for trying and, you know, doing my bit and, you know, and because part of the reason why I invited her was to thank her for, you know, a few things that she had done. um and yeah, I just kept on like sort of like fighting with myself of
yeah.
not bringing up, you know, yeah, negative thoughts. So but it was a fight, it was a bit of a struggle because it was like, you know, you've spent most of the day thinking, you know, okay, what can I offer this person? Okay, they're this, they're that, and I was envisaging what she would like. But yeah, with all those efforts, it didn't pan out
But
as well as
one
I would
thing
have hoped.
exactly. So one of the things that comes to my mind right now is
Yeah.
we plan. We plan lots of things and we plan, right? And we put the effort in. But Allah's plan is greater. So Allah was teaching us something here that no
Mm.
matter how much we're planning, it's not going to come out the way we expect it to. Sometimes it does, doesn't it? Sometimes come out amazing. And everyone's like, wow, and everyone's really happy and goes away. But that instance, it didn't work out the way you
Mm.
planned it. But Allah's plan was greater, right? Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, I think the thing for me that I take away, like thinking about it now, is that you know, like really working on that level of patience of not like reacting to that like self-regulation, basically. You know, regulating how that makes you feel and what it actually means. And the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala designed it that way for that time, but your reward is still there with Allah, you know?
Allah sees your intention. إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. Your action goes back to intention, right?
Yeah.
You thought, and originally you made all this amazing, the effort that you made, and you went back to, oops, sorry, I went back to the fact that, you know what, maybe it wasn't the way you wanted it to be, but in reward, it's much more. In
Well,
reward,
yeah, from actually from the making to the doing to the to then okay, the that sort of okay, it wasn't to everyone's liking, but then the reward of actually trying to be patient and fight the nafs of, you know, not having a sort of meltdown about the
and I love that.
situation.
It is true, isn't it? You feel like, oh, I've been, and again, it's that
Yeah.
fear of being a failure. Like, oh, maybe I didn't try enough, or if I had done something else, or if I had thought, and all these ifs
Mm.
come up, and that is from shaitan. And even though we know that during Ramadan, shaitan is locked up, right? But the if question became a default somewhere along the line when shaitan was helping us with these if questions, it becomes part of a default, and we start automatically. Our nafs starts to say, if only I had done this, if only, you know, even I don't know about you, sis, but my thought might come up like, if only I text her, or if only she told me that she doesn't get this stuff.
Yeah, exactly. That
So,
did cross my mind, but then I thought, okay, but Father Allah, you know, like you don't be bombarding someone. What do you eat and what you don't? What do you know, like subhanallah. But then you know, yeah,
we assume everyone has everything, and if they haven't said anything, then we assume that it's an open table, right? But
yeah.
then I've had an experience where somebody, she had intolerance, just similar. I don't know, but if it's the same, but intolerance to a lot of foods, and she didn't let
Mm.
her host know. So then what happened
Mm.
was that she went and she literally just had water and some dates and
Oh,
fruits, and the poor sister, she did everything and she wouldn't touch anything. And she was like, oh,
oh,
I don't have any of these, no fried food and nothing, no oil. It has to be a particular way. And the other sister was feeling really bad because she didn't know, genuinely didn't
mm.
know. And she didn't have any other alternatives, subhanAllah, in the home. And she felt really bad about it. But the reality here is that was in her control. I mean, the only thing she could have gone in hindsight and You know, it's a lesson that we learn. Again, whatever goes in the past should be a lesson that we learn, not something that we live in the past with. So if we're feeling it and if it keeps coming up, that means we're going through the pain again and again. And we were not created to repeat pain from the past. But it should be just like a reminder that what action can we take in the future. So now, sis, what you can do is next time, and I do this by the way now, I ask people who are new, what don't you eat? Like, do you have any issues with food or milk or like ghee? Some people can't have. So I'll ask them because I do my biryani. I like to do it with ghee, like the full on fat, and you can't have it. So if somebody's got anaphylaxis, for example, they can't have it. They'll have a reaction. So I'll ask my friends who've got kids because of having children, you learn. So just learning new ways of dealing with negative thoughts. You taking that negative thought to a positivity, like, you know what, I've learned something now that I can't, that person can't eat this. Next time if I invite them, I'll just ask, sis, what is your like
Staple dish.
what is your diet requirements, right? Like, because obviously I'd like to cater for you. And they might turn around and say anything, and then you do anything, that's fine, and they don't eat it. Then again, that's the issue. And I've had this as well when I've done it and I've asked, and then they go like, "Oh, we don't eat that." Like, okay, subhanallah, I did ask you, but it's gone off me totally. It's like your choice. Now, if you just want to eat dal, you eat dal. That's all you have. All the other lovely dishes are mine. And embrace it. Accept that it's not going to be what you planned, but Allah's plan is better. So
Inshallah. Jazakallah khair.
Jazakumullah khair for being so brave, sisters. I know sometimes we pause the recording, but I like to keep the recording as much as I can. If somebody doesn't want it to be recorded, just let me know. But Jazakumullah khair, sister, inshallah.
Barakallah fiki. Barakallah fiki.
Inshallah. Sister Untara, please, would you like to unmute yourself? Sorry, it's taking so long. We are 20 minutes over, but I don't mind, inshallah. If it doesn't.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I'm new to this, but I think it's the right time that I connected with you guys. I am dealing with some, you can say, the trauma, and that trauma happened because of my sister-in-law. I did everything to get her like me and to get along with me. I've been married for 23 years, and since till this time, till day, it's haven't been done. And last year, I heard that she said she said very, very bad things about me. And the same year, last year, I invited her on Iftar, and I gave her a lot of gifts, and I told her, let's start new, and I want to have a better relationship with you. Even after that, she said things and everything. And I do get out of her, like her thoughts of all that runs in my head. And I'm about to cry because, but this Ramadan, I don't know, it is affecting me a lot. And for the past 10 days have not been good. I was very down because every time I hear we do need to forgive and we need to move on, she has, and my father-in-law said that whatever she does, you have to tolerate it. We know that she is not doing the right thing, and we know whatever she's doing, she's not doing the right thing, but you have to tolerate because she's our daughter. And I just need help that I need to have her get out of my head. I cannot keep her in my head and my heart. And I I don't know if it's bad or not. I just don't want to do anything with her. I don't want to hear her name. I don't want to do anything good or bad to her. Nothing. She's there. I see her. We say salam. That's it. Nothing else. So I do ask a lot to get her out of my head. And there was a time it happened. I cannot be without antidepressants. I have to take them. um, a lot of things come into my head, and it just make me feel like I'm very insignificant. No matter what I do, I will not be. It will not be for her. Um, I don't know, because she was against our marriage. So I don't know. It's just I don't know what to do.
Okay, it's quite interesting, sis, because you're not the only sister that I've spoken to in the last few weeks that have had similar experiences like this, and I'm sure some of the sisters here would agree. Even though it's a small group, I'm sure a lot of sisters will agree that we've all had some kind of experience with someone, right? Very similar to this. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
the first thing I always say is to accept that your feeling is valid. That what you're going through is because of an experience that you've had, and it's not nice. And you have tried, mashallah, in the past to change it. You said you're married for 23 years.
Yes.
Okay, subhanAllah. So it's been like 23 years, and others are saying that no matter what your experience with that person and what they say and what they do, you have to accept it no matter what, because they are their child or related to them, important to them, and so you feel like you're not being given value, and it creates even more of an emotional turmoil. Is that right?
Yeah. Last year for the first time I talked to my mother-in-law about all my feelings and everything, and it was backfired. So now I have learned that I'm keeping my distance, and I'm not. I didn't break all the relationships. Whenever they need, I'm there. But I'm keeping, and I know for sure. Before I was delusional that they read namaz or they do sadqahs and they talk about these things, so they will stand up for the right thing. But now I know that no matter what, it's not going to happen. But I just need her to be out of my head. And there are cultural differences, even though we are from the same region, but I am more open to different things. I'm more educated, and they didn't expect that I will succeed that much, even though whatever barriers they had put in front of me. I just did my PhD, and I'm earning. I'm running my whole household by myself. I don't. I don't want appreciation, but I don't want disrespect either. And they disrespect me in front of everybody. Oh, look at her. She is nothing. Oh, she works day and night, but what is it about? Um, and even though my father-in-law said that, oh, you need to take care of my son, even if he is not making any money or whatever, but you are responsible for to take care of him financially, emotionally, mentally, every way. So,
Okay.
and I'm keeping this marriage. I don't know why. I do ask that question to myself a lot, and I
Okay.
just keep going and going.
Okay, sis. So what I'm hearing is it's what as everyone else is saying, you feel like you have to do, and you can't say no, right?
Yeah.
And
Obviously, I need to go make money and then run the household and everything.
around the household. So where are you setting your boundaries with these people, and how are you setting?
Just nothing. I think this is what making me so upset. Like wherever they say, I I I meet with them nicely. I do gift them, and even though if I text them something nice, if they have done Umrah or something good, they were like, "Oh, why are you trying to be nice?" And I just had a talk with one of my friends, and I was like, "Listen, you know me for so long, and you have seen me that I'm a giver. Whenever something happens, I'm always there, and I'm not trying to be nice. It's just who I am." So she's like, yeah, you're like that. You give us, and then you are there whenever we need. And if I was like, how come I just learned that my in-laws think that I'm being showing off, that I like them, or but inside there is a bad
Yeah.
intention there to show people that I'm very nice to them. And yes, this is considered zulm, because I have started taking my Quran classes. I'm doing, inshallah, I'm doing diploma in Quran tafsir. It's been
MashaAllah.
a year, and I just, I don't understand. I need to get her out of my head, and I just want to be out of this situation. That's my dream dua, that I want to be out of this mess.
Inshallah.
And
So, sis, let me bring you back, because it's subhanAllah,
yes,
because I don't know, and there's like a whole train of thoughts. And let's go back to your sister now you want to take out of your head, because there's a lot more than just taking her out of the head. You know, this is a very deep coaching here. And the more you're telling me, the more I'm hearing. Does that make sense? So I
yeah,
only know what you've told me so far, and although it's similar to other people's experiences, it's not the same. Never. You are an individual. Embrace that. Like you are an individual. Somebody, even your in-laws might say, other people do this. So and so's daughter does this. So and so. Doesn't matter who's doing what.
mm,
Doesn't matter. You are the person you are, and you are going through your experience, and you are going through a traumatic experience, and you have, been having to take medication to help you. So the fact that you're going through all of this, for you, that's your reality, even though it can be changed, right? But the reality is there is some kind of zulm, some kind of abuse. And abuse is of different forms, and we have to accept that, staying silent is not always the solution. I don't know what your husband's situation is. I don't know whether your husband is very supportive or not. But if he's not, then obviously that's one way of, dealing with it. If he is, there's a different way of dealing with it. But this is long-winded. Do you see what I mean? Right now, let's talk about your sister and how to take it out of your mind.
yeah,
Look, she is. Does she have control over you?
no,
But you feel like she's in your head,
yeah,
right? You feel like she has some control over you, because every time your last 10 days, especially in Ramadan, you've been your predominant thought, that consistently she comes into your mind, and you don't feel at peace because of that,
yes,
right? I want you to take that back to Allah. I really want to because I'm not coaching you the deeper stuff here. I'm doing the connection back to Allah, because for especially when it comes to some traumatic experiences, a long term, things need to, like what we did with our sister. I spent a lot more time, right? But we only counted as a very small issue here. Basis, mashallah, you're amazing. You're doing what most sisters cannot even think to do. We've heard about it, maybe encountered some parts of this, gone through it, but right now, 23 years of this, that's very difficult. Accept that it has been difficult for you. It's really, really embracing that it has been difficult for you, having compassion for yourself as well, that it has been difficult for me, allowing yourself to cry, even if it's on this platform, allowing yourself to be vulnerable, because you don't always have to be strong. You don't always have to be a survivor or a fighter, right? You don't always have to be the version of whatever everyone else expects you to be. And this is something that I want you to hear before I say this to you. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hears us, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows us, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to take action. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, Inna Allah la yughayru ma biqawmin hatta yughayru ma bi anfusihim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not change the condition of the people until they change what is within themselves. So sis, you need to take some kind of action, some kind of change. within you so that the people around you can change. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will definitely make that change, inshallah. I've seen it in my own life, and lots of sisters here, I know some of them, you know, I've worked with as well, can say, can vouch that their lives have changed. You know,
Mm-hmm.
gradually, but allow that change to come gradually, you know,
Yeah.
that inshallah Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make a change. When you make that change, the first thing that you need to do is write this down. Do you have a pen, paper? Do you have something where you can write?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I want every time we have a session or anything, any sessions, sisters, we do recommend have a pen and paper because it's something that you're going to always go back to. She has no control over my mind. That's the first thing that you need to let go of. That you need to let go of the fact that you have a feeling that she has some kind of power over you. She's got no power over you.
Mm.
You and you alone, obviously, ultimately Allah. We always go back to Allah because Allah is a you know, owner of us and who has ultimate power of us. But Allah's given us free will and the power and the choice what we do with our mind, our thinking, our thought process, how, you know, how far we take it. It's all
Mm-hmm.
up to you. And right now it might feel like, but how? I understand. It's really difficult. And sisters who are listening, who are going through things like this, you will feel like it's very difficult. And you might have a block. But I want you to just focus on one area now, just the sister-in-law, okay? Not what everyone else said about her, not what the father-in-law said, what anyone else said, because those are other things that you need to work on individually. And maybe the affirmation that we're going to do now will help you to work on them as well. So let's say she has no power over me,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And say it, but 10 times loud and clear. Just say it.
Okay.
If you can say
She
it
has no
loud and clear.
power over me. She has no 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 power over me.
Okay. How did that feel when you first started saying it?
Not like scared, but as I'm praying, Allah is telling me, let it go. It's gonna happen. It comes back, but you can do it. You can take her out of your mind.
Yeah. So I want you to have a second part to this. Because whenever we do affirmations, we don't stop at the person or the situation. We take it back to Allah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because when we take it back to Allah, that's an affirmation that is in alignment with our deen. Okay?
Yes.
So she has no power over me. Allah is my healer. Because you feel that you need healing from what I'm
Yes.
hearing. From what I'm hearing, that you feel like you need to be healed. Right?
Yes.
Because
Yes. That's my main goal.
okay. So this is just a small portion of the coaching. So I want you to work on this, like I said to the other sisters, that you take this and you repeat it again and again and again until you're firm on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you're saying she has no power over me, I want you to say at the same time, straight after, Allah is my healer.
Okay.
Okay, and when you're saying this, say it 20 times, 30 times loudly, even if you have to look in the mirror, even if you have to, if you don't have a mirror, go on your camera and look at yourself in the camera and say it. Or even just say it loudly so you can hear it. Eventually, it will come naturally. At first, you'll have a resistance because there's a lot of thinking behind it. There's a lot of resistance because you don't believe it, because
Yeah.
you're giving her too much power. But you
Mm-hmm.
have the power that Allah's given you over the choices you make, the thoughts you have to overcome the negative thinking. And remember, look, these thoughts, negative thinking, become a disease of the heart. coming back to what the original reason why we're having these sessions is because when it becomes so embedded into our hearts, it feels like a disease. And with the negative thinking, we take it back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah bi dhikrillahi tatma'innul qulub. Is it not with the remembrance of Allah that the hearts find peace? And if a heart is not finding that tranquility, it's because we haven't taken our situation, that particular situation, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like, we haven't changed it. Like, now we've changed that she has no power over us. Allah
Mm.
is my healer.
Mm.
Right? We've taken that thinking back to Allah.
Yeah.
And that's the power that we have. That, we can change our mindset. We can change the way we think. And we can, and abuse is abuses. Accept that you're not in the right place, and if you need to get help, get one-to-one help or group coaching or therapy, whatever you can. If you can't afford a coach, there's NHS stuff. Go and be brave and get yourself some support. It's okay to get help. It's okay.
Yes, I did therapy, and because I had some other issues that I I'm an MD as well, so I didn't practice here because of my husband, and a lot of things I let it go, and I don't have control over finances as well, so he controls everything. Uh, So I did a lot of therapy, but I think that's like American therapists, their way of thinking is a lot different that how we think according to Islam and our religion. And I was not able to do a lot of things because my heart was like, oh no, what Allah says this. So that was but I did got better a lot, a lot. So it's something that I feel like it's a part of my life that I need to keep doing it until and unless I get out of it, the
Either you
situation.
get out of it or they realize that you're not going to take it anymore.
She said that I'm okay when my therapist, yeah, because we worked on a lot of different things and I was much, much better. It's been a year now.
SubhanAllah. Okay. But clearly you are still struggling with it because obviously 1 year on, it's come back and it's come back with a force that it's been
No,
affecting.
that was there as well. Yeah, that's like the things are happening again. So they're coming back, but there are other now I'm realizing a lot of things like, oh, what I used to think like I used to think like, oh, it's just in my head. They cannot be that bad. They cannot think about me like in this way or my husband about things like that. But now I have, because I used to ask Allah to give me clarity of all these relationships, and He showed me there were, yes, I told Him, give me clarity, even though it's drains me, it kills me, but I need that clarity. And very, very things, emotional things happen. And He gave me clarity, and now I have it. So that hurts, you know, that hurts. That what you were thinking, people are not like what you think, and that's made me stronger, but I need to get out of it. I have this thing that I need to get the fear out of me. I can survive alone. I can live alone. I'm well educated. um I have all the things that Allah has given me, the beautiful brain that can accumulate so much information. And when I teach students, they get that information and they use it, and they are very successful residents, physicians. And
Allahumma
I
barik.
think that this is what, but this Ramadan, when she is back to me, I am very, very upset with myself. And I just I want to hit myself that you let this blessed month go by just because of this stupid thing.
But maybe Allah wanted you to have this experience that you come here today now with
Yeah,
that.
I was planning, I was praying and I prayed up to Allah, like, please, I am a sinner. I let it go. I I did whatever. I missed all the opportunity that I started so good. Please help me. And I was just going through WhatsApp and I just logged in.
Subhanallah.
That's what I was like, that's something amazing that I'm here.
Subhanallah. And I hope this affirmation really helps you start somewhere, inshallah. And you know, taking this and understanding that you need to set your boundaries, and we have a duty to set boundaries. You know,
Yes.
this is some of the sisters are saying that no matter how hard you try, these people often don't change their ways. There's some truth in it, but also at the same time that there's a process and a lot of work needs to go behind it. Some people do change, and if they're not meant to change, like Abu Jahl did not change, that's not in our hands. But we can only try. Like Abu Sufyan, he changed, subhanallah. Whereas
Sister, I'm cutting you off, but I don't want them to change. I want to change.
you want to
I
change,
I want to change. I don't, they can be whoever they are. And Allah gave me this clarity of them after 22 years, because for a year, that was, I saw whatever, but I don't want them to change towards me anymore. I just want to be out of it. I want to change myself. I want to be strong to not be nice to them.
yeah. Some
That's
people,
because
yeah, subhanallah. And
I don't want to be nice to them anymore. I don't want to give in. Oh yeah, let them invite. Let get insulted in front of everybody. I want to be so powerful mentally and financially that they cannot raise
inshallah, no, it's a really good
anything.
intention. Like you want to change yourself, and this is what Allah tells us, right? As beautiful, beautiful intentions is. But at the same time, that we hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will change them for the better, for the better.
Yes.
So and I've seen people who I thought was in my life. I thought, ah, they'll never change. And yes, they didn't change the way I wanted them to. And I'm telling you this, the way
Mhm.
wanted them to, but they changed in a very different way. But
Yes.
I'm happy with
Yeah.
that, But
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
little change is something. And the more
Yeah.
persistent I am, I feel that, but the work has to be from me. And seeing them with compassion, feeling sorry for their mentality and their mindset, and changing your negativity to positivity, that's very important, inshallah, because it's a long time. Marriage, we're not prepared. I'm more than upbringing of children. I feel like we're not prepared for marriage. Like this whole thing about what to expect in marriage and how to go through
Yeah.
marriage, and then the negative thoughts, and all our everything that we've been taught has been changed around, really impacts the way we live for the next, in your case, 23
Mhm.
years. And then it can, make you or break you at times. But the fact that you've got Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you've been strong, sis, it's really amazing. And remember, you've remembered Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala throughout your years. And Allah knows, Allah knew you needed this session. And Allah knew that this session was not planned until yesterday around this time, subhanAllah. So Allah knew that you sisters will need this, and Allah knew that I should be here today. So this is from Allah, 100%, and trusting that Allah will give you what you need, inshallah. And you just
Thank you so much.
that support from someone, inshallah, as well, that just for your change. You can't change them, maybe, inshallah, and you can't, because Allah's the one who's going to change them.
Yeah.
And you just change yourself, inshallah, so that you don't feel impacted by them. Start with this, definitely, the affirmation that I've given you. Do it 5 times a day, 30, 40 times, repeat 20 times until you're comfortable with it, until you believe it. And then
Yes.
the less you should see a pattern. Do sisters, do send the your thoughts. You can see, on the groups, you can see us coaches. Send it to us, inshallah, whatever your thinking is, whatever you feel that you benefited, or any more questions you have. We're happy to answer questions into the group, although you can't, you know, although it can't go directly into the group, the questions, but it will come to us and one of us will reply, inshallah.
Okay. And what I do sometimes that I start reading Hasbi Allahu Ni'mal Wakil. Whenever I get these thoughts, I start reading that.
Yes, subhanallah. See, adhkar, taking yourself back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, doing the remembrance of Allah, the dhikr of Allah, and that takes us back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and help us to refocus and change our lens. Like we're looking through the thinking, okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has got a greater plan for us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. Inshallah. I know, subhanAllah, a lot of sisters have got questions. If anybody else does have questions, do send. I know a few sisters had your hands up. We've been here for nearly 2 hours, so I'm really sorry that if we can't answer everything, inshallah. So bear with us, inshallah. If you've got any more questions, if you join another session, just ask, if it's related to another session, if one of us coaches are there and who can help you with the questions, we will, inshallah. Most of us try to be present in the session. Inshallah. So I hope, inshallah, that was beneficial for everyone. Do forgive me if I wasn't able to coach you as in depth as I would have liked to, because it's very, very, very different individual. If I don't know you or your situation, it's very difficult to, give you a more comprehensive support. So inshallah, it was beneficial, and use this slide, use this and ask yourself, how can you change your thinking? What can you change your thinking to? How can you change it back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Because at the end of the day, our healing of the heart, our thinking, everything goes back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? If we remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give us the peace and tranquility we need. Sometimes we just don't know how to start it, how to change that thinking, because it's so difficult. It's okay. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us so many different forms of support, these groups, coaches, therapies, doctors. We need to go out, not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us signposts to go to, alhamdulillah. So just accepting that it's okay, that if we want, if I'm struggling, that is going to take me closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you're always at peace, you're not going to realize that something's not right. Sometimes when you're going through hardship, that's when you're going to make your greatest prayer, make your greatest dua, be the closest with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, so Jazakumullah khairan, sisters. That was so brave of you, and going through this live is amazing. Jazakumullah khairan. And I'm sure the sisters who have shared, other sisters are benefiting. And I can see on the chat so many sisters saying that we did, it's very common, I can relate after 22 years. I've related with this after 22 years too, subhanAllah. So there's so many sisters who can relate with you sisters as well, whether it's about your daughter, whether it's about your children, your parents, your family members, your in-laws. We had this session about in-laws before, so to go into our Sister Seeking Salam group on YouTube and look through the topics we've covered, see if some of that relates back to you, inshallah, and definitely watch them. Take notes, always take notes, inshallah. And you see that when you're taking notes, you will feel the benefit of it more, inshallah. Okay, Coach Tahmina, subhanallah, we've had a long session, subhanallah. The sisters have been amazing. Looking forward to Jannah is a very healthy belief, as long as you don't inshallah. So because our end goal is Jannah, our end goal is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So looking forward to Jannah. Like, I have some weaknesses, obviously. Like, I look at something and I think, oh, if you're not gonna have this, and then I look at it and think, you know what, in Jannah I'm gonna have this. Like, I was talking about my rusty old car that keeps breaking down, and I used to feel really like horrible when used to break down and it's like having to fix it. And every time that feeling used to come up, I said, you know, Jannah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to give me like a whole entire, forget garage, I'm going to like a whole entire like showroom of cars, but maybe not cars, maybe buraq or something else even better, amazing. So looking forward to and having a vision that Jannah's waiting for me, but that doesn't mean that I can't have a good car now, right? That doesn't mean we cannot have the good of the world. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. We make this dua. Oh Allah, give us the best in this world, give the best in the akhirah, and save us from the hellfire, inshallah. And knowing that Jannah is awaiting for us. Jannah is, you know, where we're all going to meet together, inshallah, in pure happiness. There's no bitterness, there's no anger, there's nothing. Just pure happiness. It's totally amazing, inshallah. Amina.
Alhamdulillah. Yes, Coach Tahmina. Beautiful session today, and we had some amazing sisters who were very, very brave to come on, and Jazakallah, may Allah facilitate and make it easy for all of you in your individual journeys, and we're all going in one direction. We're going back to Allah, and remember, keep Allah there in your forefront in everything that you do. Bring Allah into everything that you do. Inshallah, you will succeed. And Tahmina, that was amazing with regards to the affirmations. They are really powerful. So a definitely brilliant tip that you've given today.
Well, yeah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept it from us as well. Sisters, we can only try our best and depend that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to give you the outcome that you need. And we are just signposts, right? We are signposts, and we are just here to just give you a few pointers wherever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has inspired us with. And share your inspirations. You know, the Sisters in Islam group, I know it's not open, but you can share your insights with us, inshallah. And if you want to reach out to any of the coaches, the platform is there. You know, if you want any one-to-ones as well, you can reach out to the sisters and, you know, see what's available, inshallah. Okay, inshallah. So I'm going to leave our session now with this dua. Don't feel like leaving, but we all have got life to go back to, right? So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us for any mistakes that we do. That's from ourselves. And anything good that comes from this is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم آمين يا رب العالمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.